nombre es Lucia Chavez.
Me llamo Emiliano Morales.
My name is Anna Gassett.
Caitlin O'Leary.
I'm Joanne Gilliam.
Anya Reed.
Sam Beckman.
My name is Eden.
Marcus Brooks.
I'm Madeline Perez.
I'm Peyton Herzog.
La Ciudad de México.
Michigan.
I'm from San Diego, California.
St. Louis, Missouri.
From San Jose, California.
From Sacramento, California.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Growing up, like a pretty sheltered environment, I grew up in that sort of bubble, so
I grew up in Mexico City.
95% of the students were white.
Since I grew up in like a privileged, predominantly white community,
When I was one of the only people of color in the school,
Being like one of 3 Asian people in a high school of 500 kids is like...
And ever since I can remember, there was always an awareness of the US. There was always an awareness that the US was better in many ways.
I thought that white people didn't exist outside of the TV screen.
I remember in elementary school, there was like this one blonde girl, and that was like white to me, like that was like peak whiteness.
In the case of my brother, for example, my brother, who again is exact same as I am, a full half white, half Vietnamese, he has dealt with more microaggressions.
we were exotic.
Teachers treated me like I was illiterate.
You get all the good grades in class because you're Asian.
Your English is so good.
People would say like, oh, I'm not Mexican, or I'm not Chinese, or I couldn't be either.
and people were like, oh, like, who's that white lady with you? And I was like, that's my mom.
You're very European looking. Where is your family really from?
So I didn't have a very diverse perspective of the life and of America in general.
I also feel like people tried to tell me what I could and couldn't be in regards to like my blood.
I wasn't aware of a lot of oppression other races were going through.
I never really took it personally up until I realized that it was wrong.
Even though I am 50% Mexican, my skin color is white.
My perspective of the United States has changed immensely ever since I came to live here.
Coming to college,
I don't think it was till I got to college.
Past year, honestly, has really changed
perspective,
my perspective of America.
not only the nation, but of the world too.
The dream was always to end up here and to educate myself here. The reason why many people choose to come to the United States, quite literally because this is a country where it's full of resources.
I have a pretty negative view of this country.
Being very, very cynical and pissed off about America.
So you want to live in a white-only country?
Not necessarily white only, but a country that is clearly based on a European model in which whites will basically remain the overwhelming majority in perpetuity.
There's just so many things that like should have been fixed already. This is how it's always been, so this is how it should stay. Antiquated.
Our country is not really different than it was hundreds of years ago.
Didn't really learn about my privilege till I was in high school.
I wasn't really involved with politics and what was going on.
Actively engaged in politics for the first time in my life.
I took a poli-sci class last semester that made me just so sad.
I remember just being depressed. It's fucked up. I can't really endure the blessings of what America has to offer.
The amount of hatred.
People still hold like the same prejudices and like the same expectations of society.
We always knew it was there. People are just unwilling to give up power. I'll never understand how people can have so much hate in their hearts.
Build that wall! Build that wall! Build that wall!
Are you kidding me?
You put so much effort in order to end here, and then you come here and you realize that this is not what you thought it was.
Do you think it's an elitist industry?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, it's an elitist industry.
Yes, this art form is based in elitism.
Having that idea that I still have to like catch up with everyone that's here, like, trying to get the knowledge that was not available for me back home.
Like, if you don't have money, you can't get the training.
Especially because of money, cannot like afford that.
The fees that you have to pay to apply for these schools, and you have to apply for multiple schools because
The voice lessons, the dance classes. Get in the room or get into the school or get the job. It's incredibly elitist. I think about that every single college audition season.
And I am very aware of the privilege it is for me to be here in the United States. It's 1 in a million that gets the opportunity to actually come to the US and study in an American college. Because I am aware of it, I know that I have a responsibility here to raise not only awareness, to carry the flag of my country very, very high.
I'm very grateful that I'm able to be here, but there's so many kids who are so talented that just simply don't have the resources.
Yes, there is like a huge difference.
Which is funny because even though in Mexico there isn't such thing as a BFA in musical theater, we still create theater at such a high caliber and such a high level.
The places that you would move after graduation, like these hubs for performers, are LA and New York City.
It's just ridiculous to me. Because if we want to diversify this industry and we want to make it more accessible to people around the country and the world, why are we putting the heart of this industry in one of the most expensive places to live in?
There's still like a lot of challenges.
As minorities,
casting people of color,
that the creative team's still not really diverse.
The way the industry looks in regards to like race and inclusivity, like it didn't change at all. You don't really see many Asian girls up on that stage. You see
like if you book Book of Mormon, it's like, oh, you book Book of Mormon, but you're playing like this like stereotype African.
I don't want to be the stereotype anymore.
And I'm always trying to fight a stereotype.
See me as one thing and one thing only.
That you're always placed in like these boxes.
You're that thing, we're just gonna put you in this box, and we're just gonna move on.
It's always me going outside of boxes, never just me auditioning for a role.
Being tokenized.
Oh, this is Lou from Mexico City. Like it always has to be that.
I hear people say, oh, she only got it because she was filling like the Asian card, the Mexican card. You know.
Am I here because I actually booked the job, or am I here because you cast me because it looks good?
A POC show, you know.
There were moments where I felt icky because people didn't think I belonged there.
It has been a different experience, just like, you know, moving to a different country.
Coming here has definitely been the most eye-opening experience in my life.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
We put everything we have into what we're doing because at the end of the day, we are aware that we could be, you know, kicked out at any moment.
More grateful with what I have in life. I mean, you're far away. You have to like do everything on your own.
The pride that Lou has in her Mexican identity.
These countries aren't sending the finest. They're sending people that are like got a lot of problems.
There's almost a part of me that, you know, wants to prove all the things that have been said about Mexico wrong.
Growing up in Mexico, I thought if this could never happen, it happens.
I represent my country here.
And to represent my country,
I have the opportunity to share with everyone here what's Mexico.
The pride that exists in being Mexican, I think it's like nothing I've ever seen. And I want to share that with the world.
Make everyone proud back home.
Especially like a country like Mexico, where maybe like it's not perfect all the time and like the government isn't perfect and you may not have all the resources.
How you guys growing up in Mexico was like...
You still have to like push for what you want. You have to push for who you have to be. Their dream makes them get up in the morning, and that's what makes them endure and do what they have to do despite the fear that they may have about their situation or the uncertainty.
You have to create your own opportunities, and you constantly have to be reinventing yourself in order to take a step closer to your dream.
In 2008, you supported the border wall, saying, unlike most Democrats, I voted for 700 miles of fence. Then you served as vice president in an administration that deported 3 million people, the most ever in U.S. history. Why should Latinos trust you?
An immigrant changes the world.
Lou is so proud of her heritage, and that's something that I think is...
It gives me like a whole new perspective on life there. It made Mexico feel closer almost.
I think it's so beautiful how like, I love how you've been so willing to kind of come here and like kind of share, wanting to share those experiences and share your culture. And
eye-opening. I've met some pretty cool people that have come from there, so they're doing something right.
Super cool people from Mexico.
Represented on the screen.
So the father, of course,
was
Mexican,
Mexican,
an immigrant, and he saw and he couldn't believe.
He couldn't believe he was watching a Star Wars film and that his accent was represented, that he knew who I was, and
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like it never felt like you were like, I'm gonna hit you over the head with a hammer. You're just like, I'm just gonna be me, and through all that we like, you know, we're like, yes.
You can do it. This is a door. Kick it open and come in.
I will also love to inspire other people and let other people know that an immigrant is able to succeed here in the U.S.
This goes to all the Hispanics out there in this country, to every minority group. We are with you. We stand with you.
I think now more than ever is the time that we should be telling stories through musicals, like across the globe. It shouldn't just be an American art form. There's theater happening all over the world.
The same level of art with not even half of the resources.
People have to work 20 times as hard as I do.
Yep, you have to work 10 times as hard for like half the amount of opportunities.
It makes me want to work my ass off.
Because our class is so diverse in so many ways, it has offered me so many different perspectives.
It's just so amazing to come here and have people be like so diverse in thought and personality, and everyone has something different to bring to the table, which I love that.
We, as Mexicans, we have to offer you the possibility to feel that Mexico is your home as well.
I want to be able to not only give voice to all of those artists, actors, and creators and storytellers that are not able to come here, not because of their talent, but because of money. But I also want to give back to my community, bring more opportunities to all those people. This is for my family, for all the people in Mexico. Dream big, don't stop, you can do it, you're Mexican.
This award for my fellow Mexicans, the ones who live in Mexico. I pray that we can find and build the government that we deserve, and the ones that live in this country who are part of the latest generation of immigrants in this country, I just pray that they can be treated with the same dignity and respect of the ones who came before and built this incredible immigrant nation. Thank you very much.